world has entered both the phase and the moment of the post-millennium development goals. Implicit in this recognition, the Partnership for African Social and Governance Research, PASGR, in its activities related to the post-2015 agenda, organized a two-day workshop in Nairobi, Kenya that focused on the issue of development data.
The key goal of this design shop is intended to generate analysis and ideas that will be used to see what steps, not next steps, and action plans we can take going forward.
Without capacity building, they will not be aware of the importance of data.
We're emphasizing in this workshop, that capacity needs to be developed.
Our journalism report incidences. There is no analysis of news or try to get the data to do a deeper analytic story.
It feels like to me this is the first meeting which has finally got beyond a kind of what is the data revolution conversation, which I have to say is the tremendous relief.
We need data, we need capacity. We're understanding here the importance of capacity, but we also need something else in order to achieve that change.
Even those who are supposed to use it have not been demanding for it.
I think the traditional role of our statistical offices is changing, but we are not accepting that change and trying to transform the statistical offices.
Certainly data seems to be changing from pure structured data to unstructured and semi-structured data.
If data is development and every development is local, why aren't we looking at how to fix the problem at the local level?
To what extent do national governments understand what their people need rather than what they are told to do, which is what we are doing here?
Now the question is, which institutions in our countries are going to do that?
The capacity gap in the generation, coordination, and use of data formed part of the unanswered questions.
I think this should be taken by the think tanks and the academic institutions. So, it's the capacity, and these are the people with capacity to do analysis.
In the case of Bangladesh, for example, we have found that sometimes if you can have memorandum of understanding with the National Statistical Bureau and they take responsibility for the methodology, then the data that is produced, that is also owned by the National Statistical Organization.
Training human resource definitely is a big one.
How do we narrow capacity building to target specific target groups? And we're looking at data producers and the users.
It looks as if those of us who were in the field, we completely don't understand what research is about and what we should even use the data for.
The national statistics offices don't yet have enough capacity to collect the data. Now what about the other stakeholders at the lower level?
To digitize how information is collected, that's all there and that's wonderful, but it doesn't change the fact that we still need the hard infrastructure for the national statistical system to operate effectively.
A major reflection was on how governments can be incentivized to change their attitude towards data.
How do you incentivize African governments to take data collection seriously and to use it?
One way for me to incentivize these decision makers is to make them aware of the importance of data.
Maybe there needs to be more incentives for various government officers to actually attend these kinds of forums, because a lot of these key questions that we are asking here today, what happens after the 2 days?
I think it should get to a point where we give incentives to those who do well.
The design shop marked the beginnings of African innovation and engagement with data that have potential lessons for actors within and outside of Africa.
I think this process is not only about building capacity, it's not only about building, about reaching out to the policy group, it's not only about reaching out to governments, it's not only about doing several things, but it's also about constituency and coalition building.
There's a value to data, even though we have some questions about agendas and so on. So for us, we want to do something that makes a difference.
Turning data into knowledge and is where I'm really excited about the data revolution.
Doing infographics, doing all these beautiful visualizations, mapping out, geocoding and all this stuff. Yes, that's my prayer. And it's been an exciting experience.
It was enlightening to see the more regional perspective in a conversation that can quite often be dominated by global voices. And I think it was exciting to definitely see a kind of concrete agenda starting to emerge around how the data revolution can move forward in Africa.
Getting the data will improve service delivery and consequently the quality of life for our people.
If we can do it better and do it at lower cost, it means we can do it on our own resources as Africans.
As the discussion on the shape and scale of data revolution continues globally, PASGR's attention has focused this discussion at the regional level into identifying a set of concrete capacity building proposals to build on. Both participants and PASGR noted the depth and wealth of the contributions from the Designshop convening.